Hi everyone, this is Sienna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hi! It's definitely been a long time since I last uploaded a sit-down video and I miss making these videos. I just came back from a month trip to Southeast Asia. I vlogged most of it, so I'm going to be editing those and uploading those, and I have way more vlogs that I filmed that I just didn't have the time to edit. But I miss making these videos, so I'm going to try to upload this as fast as I can, and I hope you guys are happy to see me again. I've also been kind of taking like a mental health break for a bit because there's a lot of comments that I've been getting from my previous videos, so I try not to read those comments from people that were pointing out unnecessary criticism and hate. I was like, maybe I should make a whole video about it, but I was like, oh, I just don't want to give them that energy right now. But thank you guys so much for enjoying my previous video. I think the main one that I uploaded about Korea was blowing up recently, so I really appreciate those messages of you guys reaching out and telling me that they appreciate a different insight about everything that happens here. And I'm going to make a whole separate video about the nightlife here because I genuinely do want to inform as many people as possible and keep you guys safe. But yeah, Christmas season is coming up in Korea, and for those of you that know, Christmas is a major holiday for couples here, and as someone that is in a long distance relationship, I'm going to be spending my Christmas alone at home. I'm not gonna like go out, and like people do all sorts of like coupley things, which I talked to my friends about it in the US and they were really surprised that it's such a big couples holiday because it's almost like Valentine's Day, but it's more common to spend Christmas with your significant other than it is to spend Christmas with your family here. And we just had an open discussion about all the different things that are totally okay in Korea that's not okay in America, or totally okay in other countries that's like kind of weird in Korea. So I just wanted to talk about that today. But before we get started, I do have to give a quick shout out to TEDDYBLAKE. I worked with TEDDYBLAKE before for a sponsored video. If you guys are interested about their bag, I did a more in-depth review. I'm going to list the video in the description link so you guys can go check that out. But I have genuinely been loving the TEDDYBLAKE bag. Like this specific bag I have been bringing to my brunches with my girls and then meetings, and it's such a cute bag to carry around. If you are looking to gift yourself for this holiday season, or a gift to your significant other or your family members or family, you can use the link in the description below to get a special discount off of your order, and you can use my code, which I will put right here, for a special discount. So if you guys are interested, if you're looking for a cute bag, I highly recommend getting a TEDDYBLAKE bag of your own. There's a range of designs and colors that are available for you guys, so if you have the time and if you're interested, go check it out. Let's move on to the actual video. I have about 10 things listed in my phone right now. The number one thing that is not okay to do in Korea that you can do in other countries is taking photos of strangers. Now, I really wanted to mention this in a video. I just didn't really know what video I wanted to talk about it on, but now is the time because I've seen so many TikTok trends and just trends online where it's people taking videos of what people are wearing in a different country, and these are just strangers, you guys, and they're like zooming in on people, taking pictures of their outfits. And then I've seen a lot of foreigners come to Korea and take videos of Koreans and their cute outfits, and I know it's not made with ill intention, like you're not making fun of them, but it is not legal to take photos of strangers without asking for their consent. So I know for some prank videos, like I recently met up with this guy that pranks people on YouTube in Korea, and he would like prank people. These are like genuine reactions, but then after he would always ask like, is it okay if I use your pictures? But if you don't ask for permission, then it kind of rubs people the wrong way. Say if I was ever going through my feed and I saw an influencer posing and she looks so pretty and there's a picture of me in the background going ham on a burger, I would not like that. But so that's just something to be mindful of. So next time you want to take pictures of someone in public, just make sure that you are mindful of that, and also to be extra mindful of license plates. I also worked for like this blogging company for a bit, and I remember having to take pictures of certain places in Korea, and I always had to blur out the license plates just so that it's not trackable. So yeah, anything to do with like personal identity, we are very strict on. The next thing that is actually not okay to do in other countries, when I mean other countries, I just mean like Singapore and Canada, because I lived in those countries the longest. So if you are from a different country and you have a different mindset, then let me know in the comments, because I genuinely want to know. But it was not okay, especially living in Canada, to do this, but in Korea, it's completely fine. Everyone does this, and that is pushing people to get out of your way. So what I mean by that is, in Canada, whether it was rush hour, whether I was in a hurry, I always just had to say sorry. Like everywhere I went, I just said sorry. Not even excuse me, but it was like sorry. And it was funny because let's say I was going to go in a different direction and the person opposite of me was coming my way, and it felt like we're gonna bump into each other, but we weren't touching at all. There was like, you know, like a handful of amount left. I remember I would say sorry and the other person would say sorry. So it's like, oh, sorry. So I love that. It's like personal space is really big. And I also grew up in a British school, so they even taught me from an early age that personal space is so important, and if ever you're in a situation where you're not okay with personal space, if another person is getting too close, you can say, this is my personal space, right? But in Korea, we don't have that at all. And I dealt with really bad anxiety and PTSD from being touched. And so in the subway, I would literally have panic attacks in the subway. I would have to get off the subway station and just cry my eyes out in the washroom and do like breathing exercises. And I remember counting the colors in the bus and counting the colors in the subway just so that I wouldn't have a nervous breakdown. And that's something that I learned from my therapist. But now I am better and I have worked on myself, so I don't have crazy panic attacks. But even for myself, who have suffered and have recovered, still it is really difficult for me to sometimes even breathe in the subway because people just get so close, especially during rush hour. And I get it, you know what I mean? It's like you have to go to your company on time, you want to leave and go home at a certain time. You don't want to wait around in the subway station just waiting for the next train. And people just like really stuff themselves in there just right up until where the door closes, and you're literally like a centimeter away from the other person. And that used to drive me crazy. Like I would literally, nowadays I still do kind of cry in the subway if it's that bad, but luckily we have a mask so no one knows. But I'm like, please get me out, but I want to go home. But in those cases, you do need to push people in the subway. Here, you don't say excuse me. I mean, for me, I like to still, because I don't like to touch people in general, that I just say like 내릴게요, which means I'm getting off here, and usually people will kind of like move. But there are some people that, you know, they have headphones and they don't listen, so you gotta push them. But here it's not like, why the fuck, you know, God, like, why did you push me? You're not gonna have fights over it because people understand like, okay, you gotta go, you gotta go. But I hate that because some people just take it next level. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to take the rush hour train in Korea, you need to put yourself in the mindset that, okay, if I get off, like I have to push. And my boyfriend, who is Canadian, came over to Korea and he stayed here for a bit, and he had the hardest time taking the subway during rush hour. He had been in so many situations where he missed his train, his station that he had to get off on because he was like in the middle of rush hour, and it was like, excuse me, no one cared. And like, sorry for what? You know what I mean? It's like no one cared. So I'm like, no, okay, what you do is you just gotta push. Like you don't have to like full on push, you just gotta like make way. So you let people know you're leaving. But yeah, that's a whole thing that you should get used to, otherwise you're just never gonna go anywhere. And I don't like taking the subway, but I have to. Okay, next thing that I wanna talk about is table manners. So I actually tutor English, and I have a Japanese student, and she often says that she has a hard time with table manners in Korea because in Japan it's really rude to make noises when you're eating. But in Korea, it's a really good thing when someone is slurping. Not necessarily things like, oh, it's a good thing to talk with your mouth open, not anything like that, but just showing appreciation for the food. Especially those, you know, mukbang YouTubers. You know how it all started in Korea and they have the ASMR mukbang, and you really gotta hear like each chewing noise and slurping. I know a lot of people hate that, but that is really big here, and it goes to show like, oh, like that person is really appreciating my food. Have you seen the way some people eat noodles? They like really slurp up the noodles in the broth, and that's considered a very good thing. Okay, next thing that I want to talk about very briefly is that when you are going to a very crowded cafe, it is crucial for you to grab the seats first, right? Now, in certain countries, it is not okay for you to leave your belongings unattended. But in Korea, it is pretty common for you to leave something on the table while you go order. And other people, not only will they not grab it, the item that you left behind, but they won't grab your seats. That's our way of marking our table. Now, I'm not saying like go like completely naive and just kind of like put your stuff everywhere. Like, don't put your AirPods on the table. Most of the time, people won't take it, but just be cautious because I'm sure there's people out here that do take other people's stuff. I personally just never had this happen to me at a cafe. I just put my bag there while I go down to order and it's never been taken. When I go to work at a cafe and I'm on my computer, I just use the washroom, I come back, the computer's still there, my AirPods still there. But, you know, I don't want to say all this stuff like it's completely fine and then you meet that one person that takes it and you have a horrible experience. So just still be cautious, but I'm just saying that usually when we go to a cafe, we like to mark our table with our belongings. That I'm saying that things like that is like when you compare it to different countries, you realize how certain things that I'm so used to here in Korea is not the norm in different countries. It's like, okay, that's something that I genuinely appreciate about being in Korea. Next one that I also genuinely appreciate about being in Korea is that everyone is like pretty obsessed with themselves, like in a good way, And I am definitely one of those girlies that I love taking selfies, but I do notice that when I'm around, I don't want to generalize, okay? Don't come at me. But a lot of my Korean friends, they are 100 times more obsessed in themselves than I am of myself, and that is saying a lot. Usually I'm the girl that would always show up to my 8 a.m. classes when like full glam and people used to make fun of me, but in Korea it's a whole different level. Like I'm like, okay, can you take pictures of me? Then I pose a bit, I'm done. These girlies, they would spend 30 minutes just taking photos and the food's getting cold. And even for me, I'm like, guys, like, can we stop please? I'm hungry. Something about being in Korea that I also really like as a content creator is that everyone just has tripods that they carry around and we're not afraid of taking selfies in public. I am visiting different countries and I'm bringing a tripod. Like, it feels weird. You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's different creators out there that they don't care what other people think, but I'm not quite there yet. And when I go to a tourist area, it's like I put my phone on a tripod because A, that's more common in Korea. Like, we don't want to ask other people for pictures. We'd rather just do it ourselves. And B, it's the fact that in a different country, you never know if they're going to run away with their phone. So it's like for safety reasons, but at the same time, it's like if you leave your phone down, then someone else could also just bring the tripod with them. But when I go to a tourist area in a different country, I do notice that there's more people just like not, you know, they don't have the whole equipment for taking selfies. But in Korea, if you go to any tourist areas or just, you know, somewhere fun, like going to like the Han River and stuff, you notice so many people carrying tripods and like ring lights, and we take ages taking photos of each other. And if it's a new cafe that opened up that has really nice interior, we just take turns. Men and women also. They take turns taking photos of each other. There's even a line that forms. And I love that. It's not organized by the cafe itself. But as Koreans, we're like, okay, like they're taking pictures, I'm next, I'm just gonna stand here. And then the next person behind me is just like, okay, I'm just gonna stand behind her. And then next thing you know, there's a whole line and it's not even like a designated selfie spot. But I love that everyone is kind of more open about taking pictures. I'm actually going to make a whole different video about pretty privilege and the beauty standards here in Korea. I know everyone talks about that, but I want to just talk about my own opinions, and that's going to be it for a different video. But I know that pretty privilege has a lot of downsides to it, but I think just in the sense of everyone wanting to take pictures and tripods and being more comfortable with that and not really making fun of each other for it, like no one's gonna be like, ew, like, does she think that she's a content creator? Like, even for those that are not content creators, we just like taking pictures. So I like that about living here, is that I don't feel judged for taking my tripod anywhere. Okay, next thing that kind of goes along with the whole tripod and taking photos and all that is the fact that it is completely normal for you guys to see people doing their whole makeup routine in the subway or on the bus. I am not there yet where I would be comfortable enough to like fix up my makeup or like do my makeup in the subway. On the bus, I'm fine with because there's no one in front of me. But you notice in the subway that there's a lot of people with their hair rollers and they're just full on doing their makeup. And it's very common to see. People don't make fun of you for that. Some older grandparents might look at you like sideways, but that's about it. That's pretty common to see. I like that in a way. It's like you don't really care about strangers, but you care about the person that you're gonna meet up with. Like, I always think about that. I'm like, I wonder who that girl's gonna meet up with. I wonder if it's gonna be a boyfriend, even if it's gonna be a friend. I wonder what that is. But I've become more comfortable now that I have my bangs to have my hair rollers in the subway. So I like that, you know, you won't get judged for that. But it also goes to show how much we care about appearances. So there's like, you know, it's like fun, but then if you really dive into it, it's like, oh no, not that fun. Next thing that I want to mention is that if you ever see traffic lights here, like crossing, this is something that I noticed when I went to Singapore, and I realized it's different in Korea and I wanted to make a video about it. So in Singapore and in other countries, you might notice that when you're crossing, there might be a button next to you that says, you know, press here if you want to cross. And you gotta press it so that the light will turn for you later on. But if you don't press it, it's gonna take forever. But in Korea, we don't have that. I know in certain places they do, but it's not as common. And there are buttons, by the way. But what that button will actually do is it's actually for people that need assistance crossing. So for people that are blind or for people that need, you know, additional assistance, you can press that for help, and usually it will be like audio of when you are going to be able to cross. So the next one is that it's probably a good idea for you to carry around a bag in Korea. And what I mean by that is there's not that many trash cans available here. When you go to Gangnam or certain areas, like, yeah, you'll see trash cans, but it's not as common to see trash cans. So I like to bring around a bag so that if I ever have trash, I can put it in my bag and then throw it out when I'm home. Or in the subway stations, there's always trash cans. And also when you are throwing out your trash, you need to throw out your trash in a plastic bag that you need to buy specifically for trash. So you can't just throw it out in any plastic bags. And I made a whole video about how to throw out trash in Korea, so I'll link that below as well for you guys to check it out, because you will get fined if you just throw away your regular trash can without putting it in that designated plastic bag. So when you go to grocery stores, sometimes if you ask for a plastic bag, they will give it to you in the garbage bag so that you can reuse it as a garbage bag. So I think that is something that you need to watch out for. So that wraps up my video about some things that are normal / not normal to do when you are in Korea. I'm actually interested in hearing where you guys are from, and if you guys have very similar things, or you have some even more like crazy thing that is completely normal or not normal to do in your country that might be weird in other countries. I want to know what is unique about your country and where you guys are from, so comment those things below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. And if ever you have any video ideas that you want me to do, you can always DM me on Instagram. It is @siennahong. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!